This Memorial Day, we headed to Legoland, New York to check out all the new things happening in 2023, especially the opening weekend of the new water playground. We had a blast. Let's go check it out. The big news coming out of Legoland this summer is the new water playground. It's more than a splash pad, but less than a water park, but it's long awaited and it's finally here. Entry to the water playground is by reservation only. There are QR codes you can scan around the park to make a reservation, or do it on your own as early as 7 a.m. on the day of your visit. It takes you to the Reserve and Ride website, not within the app, and you will receive a QR code for your timed entry. Each reservation is good for 20 minutes of playtime, and it's recommended you get there 15 minutes early to scan your code. You'll see here how our code expired while we were waiting in line, but that's okay, don't sweat it. You park your strollers and line up here to scan in, and then you stand in the ramps and wait for your time to begin. Expect it to be sunny, even with these sail shades. Bring your sunscreen. And make sure your whole party is suited up in their water gear so you spend your full 20 minutes playing, not getting ready. Designate a grown-up to snag a couple of chairs, ideally under these umbrellas, because you'll need somewhere to put your things to keep them dry. It did take my kids a few minutes to get the lay of the land and warm up to the water play, so encourage them to jump in to make the most of your time. All the theming and fun elements you've come to expect from Legoland are there. While the water playground itself is a fairly small area and fully enclosed, the structure is much bigger than I expected, with a couple really serious water slides. And the water was still pretty cold. They had life vests for little ones if needed, although the water is never more than about 4 inches deep, and showers and changing rooms. And there are these full body blow dryers to dry you off that you have to pay for, but this one was out of order. And you can buy some water gear if needed.
I do see adults in swimsuits. I did see one dad in a Speedo. He earned it. And I did see one grown-up wiped out because it's kind of slippery. So the number one note from most of the lifeguards is to slow down. But one lifeguard was kind enough to say, step back, right before the big bucket dumped on us. Thanks.
Yeah, about that big bucket.
When I was walking down the stairs, the whole big bucket left me.
The big kids were constantly dodging the big bucket, but I saw a lot of little kids crying because it dumped right on their heads. That bucket dumps surprisingly frequently, and if you're in the area, you will likely get wet. There are plenty of spots for little kids to splash around, but the big structure seemed to be more suited to my 8-year-old than my 5-year-old. For the 2 smaller slides, you need to be at least 36 inches, and for the bigger slides, you need to be at least 40 inches.
Okay, you did all 3 slides. Which one was better? That one, or that one? Which is the best slide?
The blue one.
They're all blue.
Yeah, because it's like a real.
Which one? Which blue slide? The dark blue?
The light blue.
The light blue. Okay.
Maybe you envision your time at the water playground sitting in a nice chair under an umbrella. But I'm here to warn you, unless you have adventurous kids that wouldn't mind sitting under Niagara Falls, you may have to do a little more hand-holding for the 5 and under crowd. Keep them from getting scared and keep them over near smaller, less splashy areas. We played a lot with the water spouts in the ground and with some of the Lego figurines around the space. As your 20 minutes come to a close, you'll start to hear the whistle blow and the lifeguards clear everyone out. You will need to get dressed in proper shoes, shorts, and shirt before entering the regular parts of the park. Just outside the water playground is a new build and test boat area, which is not part of the timed entry. Anyone can come in without a reservation, and it kind of extends some of your water play. Here's our tip. In the morning before coming into the park, we had made a water playground reservation for 11:30. But then once we were in the water playground, we were able to make a second reservation for 12:30. While waiting in between the two reservations, we played in this boat area, and it was great. I also want to point out Legoland is excellent for accessibility, and they had a wonderful ramp to make this area accessible to everyone. These new water areas make a great addition to the park.
This is Shark Guy.
Yep. All right, guys, let's stand right next to him for a picture.
Ready?
And let's look over
1,
here.
2, 3, cheese.
And then decided, hey, we've got wet clothes on. Why not go on the rides where you might get wet? Speaking of accessibility, Legoland is great for folks with sensory needs, and they now have added sensory guides to all the rides, letting you know how intense a ride might be for different senses. And then it was time to get dry, and it seemed most of the water playground guests were using these restrooms in Lego City to change, the ones right by the Family Care Center. The floors were kind of wet, but at least there are a number of large stalls in this bathroom. But before we leave the pirate area, we have a food update. Because we're the 5 Hungry Travelers, we're always telling you about how to eat with dietary restrictions at Legoland, and this is a big one. Legoland is starting to use the same website functionality that we saw at Legoland California on their website here. There was a QR code over at Brickbeard's where we could scan to find the website where you sort through the menu based on your food restrictions and see what comes up available. Now, we weren't surprised that at Brickbeard's there was nothing for our gluten-free, dairy-free diet, but it was good to know that they have this, and it'll help us find more stuff in the future. We decided to give everything taco another try, even though it was a problem in the past. And the big problem this time is that the website said that everything on the menu was gluten-free, dairy-free, free of all allergens, which is absolutely not true. So I wouldn't trust this website just yet. But after a talk with the really helpful staff and a glimpse at their allergen binder, I see that they've replaced the chicken bouillon in the salsa with veggie bouillon, so now we can have the veggie bowls while keeping vegetarian. Yay! The water refill station wasn't up for the summer, so we went to the Coke Freestyle station and got a souvenir cup, which we'll use throughout the season. Over at Briccolini's, they have a new cauliflower crust instead of the gluten-free crust we tried last fall. I wonder if it's dairy-free. And our favorite Angry Orchard is available over in the castle area.
Nick got me an Angry Orchard, and this is the Lego Special Angry Orchard. Like he told me, has no added sugar. Regular Angry Orchard does have added sugars in it. About 50% of the sugars are added sugar, but not true for the no assembly required Angry Orchard. Super cool.
We snagged that at Jester's Fair, along with a refill of our souvenir popcorn bucket, which last year they made us do at one specific location. We were excited to get it here. And up in the Ninjago area, they have a new Mochi ice cream. We were super excited to see that there was a vegan chocolate flavor, so we got 5. The MyMochi website says that all of their flavors are gluten-free, including the vegan ones, even though they're made of oat milk, and it doesn't specify that it's certified oats, so use with caution. Axon wasn't sure what he thought of the mochi, but eventually he figured it out. I was also impressed to see the Beyond Loaded waffle cone. While definitely not gluten-free, I'm excited to see more vegetarian things. Between the rides, the merch, and most of all the employee interactions, it was a really good day. The model citizens have stepped it up this year.
I'm so impressed. We just came out of the cinema where we watched the 4D movie, and today everybody, all the model citizens and staff have been so kind and so helpful and just kind of next level for customer service. And while we were in there, I was holding Axon because he was asleep, and they brought me a towel to cover him up because he was gonna get blasted with all the water. It's a 4D movie that sprays you. It was really thoughtful. I appreciate it.
That's my cousin who was with us. All around the park there were added little touches, like new walkways, new figures, even new details to some of the buildings. Was that doorway like that before and I just didn't notice it? Or this movie in the ride queue? That's really fun. All sorts of things that they've continued to step up and improve on in the parks to make it better and better.
Just in general around the park, there's a lot more awnings, umbrellas, sail shades, and things that there used to be. It's still vastly in the direct sun, but little by little we can find relief around places. And it feels like the landscaping's filling in. They've added in more greenery. So what was pretty open and sparse last year is nicer and nicer.
And for the first time we took in a show at the amphitheater. The Ninjago show was really impressive. We had a blast. What was supposed to be a quick stop to check out the water playground turned into a full day, and we stayed until park close. Guys, we try our best to give you all the Legoland updates. If there's anything you need from us, just let us know. Meanwhile, be sure to like and subscribe so that you catch our next update. We'll see you next time, travelers.